Sport. An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or a team competes against another or others for entertainment purposes. Esports. The activity of playing computer games against other people on the internet, often for money and often watched by other people using the internet, sometimes at special organised events. Over the past decade, esports has taken the world by storm. But what exactly is esports? In this short documentary I will be talking about what esports is and how it's changed over the years. With interviews with professional organisers and players, this will be a detailed look into the industry.
What is esports? Competitively playing video games, individually or in teams, often under huge organisations such as FaZe and Optic. These teams often compete in large-scale events and tournaments where hundreds of thousands of fans will come together to watch live and online. Esports has been a thing for a very long time, with the first event in October 1972, and it hasn't stopped growing since. With the predictions of it being bigger than the NFL by 2020, I want to talk about the economy of esports and what comparisons it has between that and traditional sport. The money in esports is massive. In 2018, the Dota 2 prize pool was just over $20 million US. This was the biggest prize pool in esports history. As well as this, the FaZe clan roster was bought for just over $700,000 US. This just puts into perspective how big the economy for esports actually is.
Over the past years, it's been very hard to get your name out as a professional player, with most teams being very exclusive and players having to have a huge following prior to their esports career. There are now multiple organisations that will allow anybody to try out for their teams and compete in major tournaments for money. We are now going to an interview with Kieran from Belong to see about his experience. How much has the esports industry changed since you joined the community?
When I started off at the esports industry, there wasn't many organisations that were public. Unlike now, where there's Belong at Game, which is a regional tournaments from up and down the country, from London to like up Newcastle, Edinburgh, and it can make players show what they can do in a tournament like Stress, and you can end up going to places like Insomnia and winning like I think it's like £240. It's not loads compared to higher esports players, but somewhere.
Would you class esports as a real sport, and explain your answer?
I would class esports as a real sport, as I've played football in like football team at school in the past. As it's got the same competitive aspect to it, it's like the same as training. You've got all the same amount of hours you put in football for training, you've got all the same hours you put into competitive. If I have to play the best, it kind of takes a lot of time and a lot of training and a lot of effort.
Do you think there are any similarities between esports and traditional sports?
Like I said in the last question, it's very similar in the competitive aspect of it. But aside from that, there's lots of similarities, like the same, like big stadiums where loads of people, with loads of big sponsors like FaZe and Nissan. Belong used to be sponsored by O2. Also training camps, so like boot camps, where loads of players get into one room, made to play like the game similar to like how football works and like boxing.
With esports being such a big thing, it has moved from being just some tournaments that were streamed online to be shown in huge stadiums all over the world, and even being shown on live TV over in the States. As well as this, in esports, where teams in traditional sports have massive training pitches where the teams will train, in esports, players have houses where they will go together and train in the houses and live together up until the tournaments.
How much goes into creating and setting up an esports event?
There's a lot that goes into setting up an event. Firstly, we need a venue. This means booking at the right time when we know there's no other events on. This is so we can invite the best teams. Then we have to hire the crew for the event. This includes technicians, security, cameramen, commentators. After that, we need to promote the event and sell the tickets. And during the event, we have designated extreme productions so the event looks amazing for the online viewer.
What can go wrong with an event?
So much can go wrong with the event. Previously, we've had failures with players' PCs, sometimes meaning we have to pause matches for an extensive period of time to get technical issues sorted. Previously, we've had issues with visa applications, which inhibits other players coming to countries where the matches are being held. And the game have had major streaming issues, which means games having to be paused for a lengthy amount of time again.
What similarities are there between esports events and sports events?
There are many differences between the two. For example, there are millions of fans who attend these events the same way as fans attend a football game. There is also huge stadiums where the events are hosted, whereas Wembley Stadium is the mecca for football, the Oracle in Poland is the mecca for esports.
Thank you for watching my documentary, What is Esports? I hope it gave you a good look into what esports is, how big it is, and how it compares to traditional sports.